like the call part too. Except this time you hate it instead of Justin.
I don't really like it too much.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Maybe I'll pick her sometime, and then I can have one I hate.
But you gave that one like a...
I moved it up to a B+, but begrudgingly. Yeah.
Like, it's a good movie, but I don't like it.
Exactly.
You'll have those. You'll have those. It's fine, though. All right, guys. Well, it's here with Dan, Film Fanatics fame, and
Hello.
Of course, myself, Merlin. We're going to do another Sopranos review, recap, retrospective. We're going to finish up Season 5 here, so we're moving along. And, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Not much left.
No, really. I mean, we've got the next season or 2 seasons, if you want to look at it that way. So you'll probably be done in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What I figure we'll do is we'll probably do like 1 or 2 more of these videos, maybe 3, depending on how we stretch it out. I think there's probably about like...
I think there's 21 episodes left, maybe?
Maybe 15. I feel like...
Yeah.
I think it might be like another... Season part 1 is almost like a full season and then a shorter last season.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a little while. But what I'd like to do is, when we're done here, I'd like us to do kind of a whole series review recap.
Sure.
You kind of go through what episodes stick out. Because I know you said that in context, some episodes might change their grades more like you do with movies.
True.
We can do like a whole series review, and I'll do a retrospective,
Yep.
and we'll just talk about the ending, which I'm sure will be a 45-minute discussion in and of itself. I'm really curious to see what you'll think about that, but we're not there yet. So for now, let's finish up with the last half of Season 5.
Yeah.
Some big things do happen, and as I told you, I'm guessing these seasons tend to get better towards the latter half.
They do, absolutely.
Because I remember this one, you were like, not as good as the last couple, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure Season 5 gets good again.
Although, as you'll find out, it really, I wouldn't say latter half. I'd say latter quarter, maybe.
Oh, latter
better.
quarter.
Yeah.
Okay, rough.
So, first we're going to start with episode 8, which is Marco Polo.
Remember this one.
And this is with Carmela's father, Hugh. He has his 75th birthday party. Him and Tony kind of reunite there. And Carmela and Tony sort of get it together again.
Pool action.
Yep, they get some pool action at the after the party. Conflict in New York is escalating between the 2 different mafias.
More battling it out.
And Tony Blundetto, our friend Steve Buscemi, is courted by an old ally here. Junior gets in on the action with the party, ruining it for Carmela's father. He calls him and tells him, "Look, we're old. It's a surprise party. We don't need surprises."
Yeah, he ruined his surprise
party. Sorry, I can't come. Yeah, it was. I didn't like that. That was annoying. But basically, Tony B gets called in to put a hit on one of Phil Leotardo's
rivals.
Rivals, basically, because there was this whole car thing. His car wasn't fixed to his liking by Angie.
Yeah, Angie's company and another person's family didn't like it, and so messed my car. I do remember that. That was strange.
And then Tony B also has his own family issues. His sons are like little thieves, or kind of like stealing stuff.
Oh yeah.
So he's got to deal with that. And then Tony and Carmela spend the night kissing in the pool, and then they end up sleeping together.
Yeah. Well. So you see, it's not as you suspected. Might not be the long-standing separation. Well,
I mean, I kind of figured it wasn't till like the end of the series.
But you thought they might be a way longer?
But no, I mean, I was actually pretty happy with
the reunion,
the length of time, because I feel like when they first broke up at the end of Season 4, I just thought, oh well, summer hiatus, and then start of Season 5 they'll be ready to go again. And that was not the case. So I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked that they stretched it at least half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't love that they're back together quite so early.
Uh-huh.
But I like how it happened. It seemed
natural.
It seemed kind of organic and not too forced. But yes, that's true. But this is not the be-all and end-all of the reunion, as we'll find out.
That's true.
So this episode is all right.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like not too much happened, though.
There's not yet. It's another one of these, stuff happens, but not really, and the pool stuff doesn't really matter in the grand scheme, as we'll find out. So it's a B-.
Okay.
Up next is number 9, Unidentified Black Males.
Oh, nice.
And this is... Meadow gets her boyfriend Finn a job at this construction company that is run by the family.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Is this the episode with God help me, big guy. Vito.
Yes.
Vito Spatafor.
Yes, he.
Vito's been coming up in the organization.
Yep.
Runs the construction site, and
he takes a little liking to Finn.
yeah, he takes a nice liking to him.
One that Finn
Think
thinks
awkward.
is too much, maybe, of a liking. He gets him these, what is it, baseball tickets, I guess.
Yeah, to come see a game with them, like see the
box
Yankees
seats or whatever,
the Phillies or whoever he's going to see.
And he blows him off.
Yeah, and he gets a little upset, like,
yeah,
you don't want to come to the game with me, and and he gets a little afraid because obviously.
Well, this was a day after there was a whole big beat this guy to a bloody pulp at the construction site.
Yeah, I just realized.
So Finn's like, oh
maybe,
God,
maybe working for the mafia guys isn't necessarily the best thing,
right.
but I can't back out of it,
right?
Because I don't want to insult the dad.
Yep, exactly.
That
so
must be a really nervous situation.
Going out with Meadow must not be too easy.
But they like it.
That's true. In this episode, Tony also admits to Melfi the truth about Tony Blundetto's arrest. Sort of,
holds it a lot on his shoulders because I believe it was one of those things where they were young, and the interesting thing about Tony is he hasn't really spent much time in jail for being a mobster, and
true.
They were doing something, was it a robbery or something, and it was one of those things where if he had not gone the same direction as him,
right,
and he could have ended up in prison too, and it's like maybe
it's basically wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And Tony Soprano has always kind of held it
for years.
Yeah.
So that's why he does care about his cousin a lot. He feels guilty about that. That's true.
Yep. So let's see what else is happening. Okay. So Carmela is filing for divorce in this episode.
No,
they had their night together. She decided,
wasn't good enough.
This still isn't working. So she files for divorce, which turns out to not be easy because Tony's Tony, and he happens to have some words with the lawyers that she's contacting.
Makes it impossible.
Yeah, nobody will take her on as a divorce attorney. So that's a little bit of a problem. Christopher is having issues about Tony B moving up in the organization so quickly.
Because he just got back.
He just got back.
Well, he saved your arse, so you should be quiet.
I know. He's, Christopher's such a little baby.
Not liking him anymore.
I go back and forth on him.
I know.
Johnny Sack.
Liking him yet?
No, I'm not.
I don't believe you don't like Johnny Sack. I like Johnny Sack.
Sometimes I just scribble things down. Johnny Sack thinks, Tony B has something to do with Joey Peep's murder. Yeah, okay. So Joey Peep got murdered.
Yes.
But Tony Soprano covers for him. He's like, oh, no, he was with me. You don't have to worry about that,
But
this is part of Johnny Sack's crew.
But that might not necessarily be true.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know you. I'm just saying. I think that might not be true. He's coming for him.
Yeah, he's definitely. So.
Oh yeah, he was with me. That night.
Yeah. Clearly not. But he's trying. And then at the very end of the episode, Meadow and Finn get engaged, and she calls Carmela and oh Mom, I'm engaged. This is great news. Whatever. And at the same time, Carmela's looking out at the pool and sees Tony floating around, and she's trying to divorce him, and it's not working, and so sort of circle of life kind of thing.
Starting over, yeah.
Yeah, I like this episode a lot. This big step up from a lot of the episodes this season.
Sounds pretty good.
The whole construction plot line was really great.
Tense, I bet.
Very tense. I liked that.
It's always good to see an outside perspective on these things.
Yes. It's true, and Meadow's boyfriends usually
vessel for that.
See a lot. Yeah, they see a lot of them.
Meadow, you're gonna hate who she ends up with in the end.
Oh God. Alright, so great.
Finn, of course.
We'll see, I guess. So this episode is a B+.
Okay, that's good.
I liked a lot of the things going on here, and I do like the two Tonys dynamic. I like that Tony Soprano looks out for him, and he feels genuinely bad about what has happened in their past. He feels a weight. But at the same time, and we see this, I don't know if this episode is a specific example, but we see a few times during this season that he also kind of says, look, it happened, we got to move on from this, you're back now, let's just, move forward. So, sort of a back and forth, I think, within himself.
Well, it makes sense.
All right, so episode 10, Cold Cuts. This is where Janice goes crazy at Sophia's soccer game. Sophia's
Bobby's daughter.
Well, yeah, one of Bobby's kids, and so there's an incident with another parent.
Soccer moms.
The soccer moms. Janice goes crazy on her.
Jail.
Yeah, gets sent to jail. That's
Tony gets
true.
angry about it.
And Tony gets real angry. He says, "Look, you need therapy for this. You need to be an anger management.
I got the FBI watching me,
Yep.
and you're putting my
I
own
don't
people
need
in
this."
something like that.
Well, because basically this resulted in a news story in which Tony's name was brought up.
Yeah, that's why he was like...
And he's like, "Look,
no,
you got to go to anger management. This is, over." And even Bobby kind of says something to her because...
Well, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, because later that night she is talking to Sophia and she's like, "Oh, I would, fight for you. That soccer mom wasn't being nice, whatever." And Sophia's like, "Look, you're not my mom. This and that." It was a little tense scene, tense family scene. All right, so Tony B and Christopher visit the family farm, and they dig up some dead bodies.
Cold cuts.
Yes, cold cuts.
Is this like digging up people they murdered a long time ago to just in case that comes up later?
Yep, basically. I guess the
was it Tony's
I forget
first
exactly
murder
what
or
happened.
something?
Well, I don't know who specifically the murders were, but the house was going up for sale or something, and so they thought everybody was going to be sort of surveying the area, and they were like, "Look, it's time to move these bodies."
I think they dumped them in the lake or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then what happens? Oh, so Tony. Oh, yeah. So Phil Leotardo's back here. Tony finds out that him and his crew stole a shipment of Vespas that they were going to sell. So that's, New Jersey, New York, back at it there.
More car stuff.
Yeah, so it was, it was a couple things going on in this episode. I didn't care really about the Uncle's Farm storyline. Tony Blundetto and Christopher, not my favorite pairing. That was sort of boring. I liked the Janice stuff. That was all right, with the soccer thing. But what I really liked about the episode was how Tony seeing his name on the news affected him and then everything else.
Yeah, he flipped out.
He flipped out, and with good reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've been under the FBI scrutiny for a couple of seasons now.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that happen is ill-timed. And Janice has been a problem, on and off. She's been okay this season in terms of,
it's because she's had Bobby's family to kind of balance her
That
out.
is true.
Give her something to
Yeah,
focus
she's not
on.
quite always in Tony's family's business. So I'll give this one a B.
Okay.
Up next, we have the test dream. And this is where, in the very opening scene, Tony's girl that he's with at the time, Valentina, catches on fire because
Poor Valentina, the
she's,
Joker.
yes, actually.
Salt,
yes, yeah, she does all the gags. And yeah, they are being intimate. She gets up. She's going to make him something on the stove. There's this grease kind of thing happening, and she just
gets burned.
And he was just about to break up with her, so that's
And then he ends up
the whole problem.
breaking up with her anyway in the hospital.
Yes.
And she's like,
yep.
You
And she's
a-hole,
like, how could you do this? Yeah.
But I mean, man, that's poor timing though.
It's very poor timing.
Well,
how can you prove that you were going to break up with her?
It's not like he's going to. He still pays for everything, of course. He'll get her the
Yeah,
best
of
plastic
course.
surgery. She'll be fine,
Of course.
But you know, how does that make her feel? I bet
no, she's terrible.
She'll think it's just you're not going to break up because I just had this mess on my face. Now.
Right. Yeah, so that was kind of a shame for her.
Was she the favorite of his girlfriends? I don't typically like his girlfriends. I liked her.
She was all right.
She was better than Gloria.
I hated Gloria.
Was insane, and there was
Svetlana, didn't like her.
Didn't like the one-legged girl?
She was all right. I liked how she messed with Janice.
What about his...
that part was good.
Irina, the first Russian girl?
Oh, yeah. She wasn't bad, but I don't know. Of all his girlfriends, I do like the jokester. I have to say. She's not bad. Well, and also, he's separated from Carmela.
So it doesn't
he's not really cheating on her.
That's
so
true.
I like that as well.
But he decided to break up with her. So think about that.
Well, that's true, but at the same time, they had just him and Carmela had just slept together again. He's obviously trying to block this divorce from happening.
So he's got to focus on
So
it.
he's,
Hey, maybe it's a good
shifting
thing,
his
right?
focus.
So, maybe don't cheat on her.
Well, yeah. So Angelo gets killed here by Phil and Billy Leotardo, and Tony Blundetto ends up killing Billy to avenge that death. And then that's literally the only interesting thing that happens the entire episode, because most of the episode is involving Tony's different dreams, which culminates in like this scene with his high school coach.
You don't like that scene?
I actually really...
Kind of a flashback.
I hated the dream sequences in this episode. It was sort of a flashback, but it wasn't. It was a dream sequence.
I thought that said a lot about his character, actually.
I guess.
Where you gotta go, you gotta...
But we've had that in so many other instances. Like, for example, the episode where he kept seeing Big Pussy in his dreams.
He comes up
like that happened. I feel like we've, sort of gone through that a lot. Even Junior, when he was going through his dementia, and started saying about how Tony used to be, a track star and, all this stuff.
That's true.
I feel like we sort of covered that ground a lot.
So you got enough of that already?
So I can't say it was a bad scene per se, but the only thing that interested me in this episode was the Leotardo and Tony Blundetto plotline.
The murder at the end, which is pretty much the hook.
So it's a C.
Oh, wow.
This ranks right up there with the Italy episode for me.
So you don't like the dreams, huh?
Well, I do sometimes.
I'm going to warn you.
Is there a lot of dreams coming
We're
up?
We're getting into some dreamy stuff.
Like,
it gets more experimental as it goes
along. This is the first time I have to say that I really didn't care for the dreams. Because,
it's weird, because you usually like the dreams.
Even the Melfi dreams have been good. She's getting the soda out of the thing.
So was this episode mostly dreams?
It was like half dreams.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right? There's like 5 different dreams in it. And the coach one's the only one that's mildly interesting, but again, it's already tread upon ground. What's up? What do you got?
Well, I'm going to be interested to see how you feel about something happens later.
Season 6? Okay.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but, I don't know.
Okay, I guess I'll find out when I get there.
I don't know. I think... Let's keep going.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
Okay.
Number 12 is long-term parking.
Oh, I know what happens this one.
Oh, yes, and this is the one I've been waiting for since about season 2.
Somebody goes
This is the
to
one
airport
where
for some long
Adriana gets murdered.
Spoilers, man, we gotta go through the review. Is that the only thing? Come on.
Well, okay, but
gotta build up to it.
This is what I knew was happening.
The one thing you know.
One murder I knew going into this entire show. I knew Adriana got murdered in the woods. Don't know by who. Don't know when. I kind of sensed it was happening, though, before the end of this season. Because
I knew it happened
he
soon.
hadn't been in it very much this year. And the FBI stuff had been dwindling, but before this all happens, finally we get like an Adriana-centric episode.
Uh-oh. She's
having a lot of health issues, which the doctor says is
stress.
Based on stress. No kidding. So before all of that happens, she finally has had enough with the FBI. She comes clean to Christopher.
Oh, yeah.
And she says, look, the FBI wanted me to wear a wire, wouldn't do it. The FBI wanted me to do this, didn't do it. I tried to give them as little information as I could without, causing suspicion from them, but also not getting anybody in trouble. He starts choking her out, and if I didn't know any better, I might have thought that's when she was going to go.
But no.
But no, because I knew it happened in the woods, and that was on their couch. So, it continues.
Well, maybe we can go to the witness protection.
Yeah, witness protection was a possibility.
Over.
No, didn't want to do that. So, she ends up going for a little ride to take her mind off of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she knew it was coming.
You think she knew it was coming?
She didn't want to get out of that car, that's for sure. So I would say, yeah. I would say she had a clue.
She didn't know on the way there for a while.
No, she didn't. But I think once they got there, she put 2 and 2 together and realized who, her family is at this point. So Christopher starts drinking again. Tony and Carmela get back together, and this is the episode where he officially dumps Valentina.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? Silvio's the one that does it, by the way.
How'd you feel about that?
We didn't say that.
Interesting choice, I thought.
It was an interesting choice. I felt all right about it. If it was Tony,
Too close.
couldn't have handled it, especially after they got so close just a few episodes ago, or maybe late in season 4. I forget when that was, but I would not have liked that. Silvio,
I feel like Silvio's a good choice for that.
He is a good choice because he's not that firmly connected with her, where it would be like, oh God, how could you do that? I think it was an okay choice.
What about Paulie?
Paulie, I also thought of. I thought that might have been one way to go as well.
I think one reason Tony decided probably not to have Paulie do it, though. Paulie and Krister have had a lot of altercations.
That's true.
Maybe
that's true. And they just recently sort of connected when they murdered that waiter.
Yeah.
Not long ago, really.
What a wonderful bonding.
I know. That's how they bond. And then, so then Johnny, Sack, and Tony sit down.
Oh.
Tony actually sits down with the whole crew, and they demand Tony B's head. Basically, they're really, really pissed about Billy's murder. So that plot line continues, and then at the very end, Tony meets with Johnny and says, "Look, please allow me to do the honors of killing Tony Blundetto. I don't want it to go through you. I don't want you guys to torture him. I don't want you guys to, have your version of killing him. Let me do it. It will be done." Whatever. Johnny says no. Johnny says that's not happening.
Your favorite person.
I hate it. I hate it. If we ever did a top 5 least favorites,
we'll probably do that for the last one. That'll be something.
That's not a bad idea.
Well, we'll cover some ground. But
I
really don't like Johnny Sack.
I don't. What's to like?
There has to be something because I do like him.
I understand. Okay.
What about his wife thing? I thought his wife was pretty
she's
good.
all right. She's fine. She's not him, though.
No.
What I'll give you about him is that I understand his position in the respect of we are seeing this story with Tony Soprano really as the protagonist.
And Tony Soprano is the little guy.
He is.
In all honesty, the thing about The Sopranos is it's supposed to be like a mafia family that's more relatable because they are interwoven with suburbia and average life. The New Jersey mafia is not New York,
right?
Which is a much bigger, massive crime boss, and we see Jersey's
small potatoes, really.
And I think they even joked about it in one of the earlier seasons. I think Carmine, before he died, old Carmine was like, Jersey, they're just like a glorified crew,
right?
Like they're
basically,
we allow them to be, and I mean, there's that tension there, and and Tony really has been trying to stay out of this big power struggle between the New York families, and it's
come to him.
It's now he's personally involved.
So I guess to me, I get Johnny Sack's angle. I get where he's coming from.
He can't just let Tony say.
He's just doing what he's doing.
He's like, I've got to do it. Of course I'm New York.
But our protagonists are Tony and his family.
No, which is right.
I get where he's coming from.
So would you say Johnny Sack's the villain of this season?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. This episode is by far the best of the season.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an A+.
That doesn't happen too often.
It doesn't. I've only given maybe 3 or 4, but Adriana is a character that I have loved since the beginning. And her demise,
it's pretty sad.
It had to happen.
Yeah.
Once she reveals that she's been in contact with the FBI for a couple of years now.
We got to talk more about this episode, though. Because,
let's.
I think it was funny. I was talking to my girlfriend earlier today about this.
Really?
I don't know why it just came up. But, just kind of why they didn't go, why didn't she go away? Because, what does that really say about Christopher? Because we saw in this episode, Christopher, he's always been...
had that option.
He's always been in conflict, do I really want to be in the mafia life? He was even thinking, almost half goes with her. He was very close.
Yeah.
But then, there's this one scene where he sees them, just this couple leading a very normal life, and I guess he thought was too mundane. Remember Henry Hill from Goodfellas?
That's right.
He probably thought the exact same thing with his love of movies. So, it's like that moment, I gotta be loyal to Tony.
Right.
I can't leave this life. And, I mean, the fact that he chose them over her, I mean, he did love Adriana.
He did, but...
He loved himself a little too much.
He loved himself a lot more. I mean, he didn't treat her very well.
Especially towards the end, yeah.
Especially towards the end. And like I said, we haven't even seen her too much this season. Mm-hmm. But he does love her.
That's true.
You're right, but there's a lot. He loves Tony more, and he loves himself more. I mean, he almost strangled her to death in this episode.
Well, as you'd say, Christopher has some problems.
He's got some issues.
Well, and another interesting thing, too, I wanted to bring up, with Adriana's death. Yeah. I will give this is a minor spoiler, but it's more of a stylistic thing. Well, I guess the ending, but you know what happens at the end.
The end of the series?
Yeah, basically.
I know, Fades to Black.
You know, like, the very last thing that happens, but everything up to that, you don't know what happens. Fade to Black, yes.
Yeah, I know it Fades to Black, yeah.
Well, Cut to Black, that's a whole nother...
Well, you're right, I'm sorry, Cut to Black.
It was a bullshit thing. But anyway, we'll get there.
Okay.
But the interesting thing about this, all murders, before this and all after, you see what happens. Her murder's the only one that takes place off camera.
Oh, that's interesting. Of a major character, at least.
Of a major character.
You're right.
That's the only time
they'll ever happen.
Just let you know.
Well, that's because she's a great character, and we don't want to lose her.
Is that really what you think
it
is?
Because I'm pretty sure I want it to be.
Though, to be fair, I don't think that they typically kill people that aren't somehow really intricately involved.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's why it was different.
I mean, and to be honest, like Big Pussy,
that death was so sad.
That murder was very sad. But you know what? It was. But we only had 2 seasons with him. Mm-hmm. Adriana's been there since the beginning, and she's had she's had a rough go of things. And every time something seems to be going well, her and Christopher,
Married.
are getting together. Oh, well, he's still shooting heroin between his toes, it turns out. He's doing this, he's doing that. He killed her dog. Oh, great. I'm finally living my dream. I got this club. I'm really, having a great time with it. Oh, all of your mobster family and friends want to come use my club as a thing while I'm being, an FBI informant. Like, it really, she's had a rough life. At least a few years here.
And her mom really wasn't too great too either from what we saw of her.
Nope.
Not very supportive.
So, she is a very sympathetic character. And her only crime is being with Christopher. She did not ask for this life. She's not a blood relative of these people. And that's why she, I think, is one of my favorite characters.
Well, I mean, she was involved with the life, though. She grew up with it. I mean,
She grew up with it. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
You might have forgot about it, but she actually was like...
I did forget.
Richie April's niece or cousin or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Small community, whatever. But I know what you're saying. She wasn't trying to be a criminal.
Right. She's like a Meadow. Like Meadow, yes, okay, her father's Tony Soprano. But Meadow doesn't want that life at all. And maybe she does in season 6, and that's what your face is telling me. I'll find out, I guess.
No, well, I know what you're saying, though.
But you know what I mean. Like,
well, the cool thing about Meadow, just a brief sidetrack, is that I do like the way her character develops, I guess.
I do, too.
Like,
Meadow is her own person.
She's always her own person.
Yes.
And you're right about what you said. But towards the end, she does have a slightly different perspective on things. There is a pretty good scene coming up pretty soon, I'm sure, probably in the next season.
Okay.
Yeah, she embraces the full mafia lifestyle next season. No, I'm just...
Well, that's disappointing.
That's not what happened.
Okay, I was going to say.
No.
Alright, so the season finale is called All Due Respect.
It's a good title.
It is, and that's because there's a lot of people...
Giving respect.
Trying to give respect.
Failing.
And being disrespected. So the very opening scene is basically Phil Leotardo demanding an eye for an eye.
How do you like that guy?
With Tony B. Well, he's already kind of a bad guy.
Oh yeah, Phil's bad.
I mean, yeah.
I'll tell you what, that guy does some bad stuff.
He does, and he's sworn here the vengeance, for Billy, and let's take out Tony B, an eye for an eye kind of thing. So what else? Tony brings everybody together and says, look, we got to deal with the Tony B thing as a family. Trust me. I know how to handle this. just let's see what happens.
Don't the guys like have some doubts about him? Though?
Nothing but doubts.
Because like it's his cousin, so they're
nothing but doubts. Yep.
Well, Tony's a guy that comes through though.
He is typically, yes. So Phil goes and beats up this Benny guy who, in the process of looking for Tony.
Poor Benny.
I know, it was.
I remember that
sad.
guy.
He cracked his skull, fractured his skull.
Oh my god, he almost kills this guy just because
him.
he's like on their side.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, I see you.
Yeah. Ugh. Basically, Tony B's in hiding, and nobody knows where he is.
It's like Fargo all over again.
Kind of. So, this Benny guy doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know a thing about it.
I'm like,
I'm
low on the totem pole.
Exactly. So he gets, really beaten up over that.
I think he gets paralyzed or something. Jeez.
Johnny gets taken in by the FBI at the very end of this episode. It's a neat. I know the running is fantastic.
Tony just running. That was great. I love that. Tony's like this cool, calm, composed guy. Sees the FBI, runs all the way back through the woods, back to Jersey. Yeah. Back to Jersey, which is, I guess he does live close to him, but he walks miles and miles.
Yeah.
And his car's still there. It's like,
Tony, I know. In the snow. It's snowing too. So he's like dripping wet, when he gets to Carmella.
They're gonna use your car. Oh, it could be anybody's.
So at the time he was trying to meet with Johnny to
bygones.
Try to patch things up. At this point, Tony B has been murdered. Tony took him out and leaves him for them as sort of a, I don't know, calling card. I feel like
made him mad though.
Yeah,
He went against us.
Well, yeah, they said no, you can't take him out, Tony. We're going to take him out. Yeah. Well, he's
lucky.
Cut out the middleman, didn't he? So he's like meeting with him and saying, "Look, let's bury the hatchet. No pun intended. Let's go ahead and let bygones be bygones." And as he's going to this meeting, he sees the FBI pulling up, arresting him. He's like, "I'm out." Turn around.
He runs.
I know, it is a good run. And then the only other thing really in this episode is we see AJ again. He hasn't been really in the last few episodes. But here he's throwing a party and developing his business style. He charges $5 a head. Him and his buddy make $300 apiece after expenses.
Party holding, what does he call it? Hosting?
Yeah, he's going to be a party
manager.
Party planner.
Party planner.
Yeah, he's going to be a party planner.
That's his new plan.
So, he decides that, hey, this might be my calling.
Like the wedding planner.
I'm good at this, like the wedding ringer. I might be good at this, but Tony and Carmella are a little bit suspicious. Tony is actually more suspicious because he thinks that AJ might have gay tendencies at this point.
Missed that.
I didn't really get that, but because he's watching that movie 54 with Mike Myers as the head of Studio 54, who is a gay man, and Carmella says that he's watching this movie over and over and over again because he wants to be like this guy. Tony sort of doesn't know how to feel about that, takes it a little bit the wrong way. So I thought that was kind of a weird subplot.
Considering the fact I forgot it, I don't think it's a big deal.
I guess not. No, I think Carmella's like, no, I don't think that. I just
he thinks he's gay because he wants to be a party host.
Yeah.
It seems like a gay kind of job, I guess. So.
And he's admiring, this
homosexual
guy. Yeah, so.
Tony doesn't really care.
Tony's got some.
I don't know what Tony's talking about.
I know. He just doesn't know how to deal with AJ, I think. But I thought this was a good season closer.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It really is. I think it's a great cliffhanger. What's going to happen with Johnny?
That's pretty big for the next season.
Pretty big cliffhanger. What does it mean for
Tony
and the whole Jersey crew?
What
does it mean for the New York crew?
Well, it's certainly coming to a head. I'll tell you that much.
Yes,
they're not going to be too happy about the Tony B thing.
Yeah, I would imagine that they did not like that he went behind them.
Well, I'll tell you what. Did anything happen this season regarding a certain character at the construction site?
Couldn't be more vague. There was.
Was there an instance? Was there a? There had to have been. Maybe it didn't happen.
There was a beating at the construction site.
Was there anything else
we talked
with Finn?
About? No, in fact, I don't think Finn was in these last couple episodes at all.
Vito? Did anything else weird happen with Vito?
No, I mean.
Anything else?
Other than the construction site, Vito invites him to the baseball game. No.
Okay, I guess it didn't happen yet.
Okay. Interesting. We have not been back to the construction site since that episode.
Okay, the construction site's important.
So
there's something that happens there that will blow up this New York thing.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
There's a certain like you can tell. Like it's funny. The last couple seasons, this tension has been building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know a little bit about the mafia.
A little bit.
How things, what things ultimately happen when two families disagree.
Basically. People get murdered.
This gunplay.
Interesting. All right. Well,
there's been some murders. So
okay. Yeah. No, the only construction site episode was that one we talked about.
I could have sworn that happened. I guess Finn's still working at the construction site. Yeah.
Okay. I guess. I mean.
Okay,
I guess. It hasn't been brought up because the last thing that happened was he didn't show up for the baseball game.
Well, I'll tell you right now.
And then he told Meadow he wasn't going back to the construction site.
That whole thing is important.
Okay.
That comes back.
Well, all right.
Vito didn't like that.
I like that plot, so that makes me happy.
That's a very good plot. I think you'll have a very interesting perspective on where that whole thing goes.
Well, I'm going to end this episode on an A-.
It's pretty good.
Good season finale, like I said, good cliffhanger. So that is season 5. There is a season and a half left because season 6, like we said at the top of this, broken up. I believe it's 13 episodes and then 8 episodes.
I consider it 2 seasons because
I think it's 2 seasons
because they had a year break between. It's 2 seasons.
What I call 2 seasons. HBO doesn't call it that.
Well, by the way, with between Sopranos and Sex and the City, you have HBO to thank for this whole AMC mid-season double
finale.
season.
I'm sick of it.
What kind of nonsense is that? But they're separate seasons. If there's a season 7, okay, you don't call it that. But season 5, overall, what'd you think of it? Things that stood out to you?
Well, definitely a departure from the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
3 and 4, like we've talked about many times, are really the same season and the high point of the series.
I think that's why. It's just one big season, basically.
It is. This is a very inconsistent season.
Sounds like it.
One episode I gave an A+ to.
You gave a C to.
And then I gave a C, and really 2 back-to-back episodes here.
Weird.
And then a lot of B+, a couple of A- here and there, but
not too much great.
Not too much great. I mean, the Tony Blundetto arc was great.
Too short, though, it sounds like.
Too short. I could have used more. But I could tell that it was coming to a head. After Adriana got murdered and this episode started, I thought, you know what? This is not going to end well for him. He killed Billy. There's a lot of tension here. Tony's already saying, okay, let me do the honors. He's not going to make it through this episode.
Maybe it's because I like Steve Buscemi, and I did like the character, and I kind of almost wish there could have been a way that he could have gotten out of this.
Yeah.
I know it's better
that he could have stayed in hiding for another few episodes, or maybe something got worked out by then. Yeah.
If you'll notice, generally speaking, when Tony kills somebody, it means something.
Mm-hmm.
He only handles the big stuff.
He killed pussy.
A lot of
one of them.
Yeah,
he was there.
The 3 big ones.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever really see that.
No.
They all got together for that one.
It is true.
So I don't know. I think the pussy death's still pretty intense.
It is. It's pretty shocking.
But yeah, the Adriana one was definitely a big one too.
Yeah, the Adriana one for me was bad.
Well, I think this one,
even though I knew it was coming.
Yeah, you know it's coming. I think for both of them, you know it's coming. And I feel like if I had to say
2 biggies in a row, though.
I was thinking, symbolically speaking, you could say that, with these kind of personal deaths, one kind of from the past and one that we've seen for a long time. 2 very close ones. I feel like it really is pushing things yet into another direction where...
Well, things are going to explode.
Things are going to explode.
Yeah, they have to.
Literally and figuratively. I mean, the whole thing's been building up. I mean, this isn't really... Well, you know where this is going.
Right.
What's going to happen with Tony? How is he going to keep his family together?
Yeah, I'm interested to see exactly how it goes down, but I know stuff's going to go down.
Is the therapy helping?
Right.
What are we going to work with?
Yeah, we've been back and forth with Melfi this season.
Big back and forth.
I haven't really mentioned her too much.
Exactly, you haven't
today, but no, I mean she's still in it most of the time, but there's not a whole lot.
It's
I don't know because he's back and forth. He only got back together with her
because
this season at some point.
Because Carmel and him were having issues.
Right.
Yeah, he's trying to really get himself out of therapy, and you feel like the therapy's almost taken a back door now to the mafia stuff. It's starting to get hard to ignore.
Which I'm really liking.
Which is weird because you really like the Melfi stuff, but if you'll notice,
I do. But I
the
feel
last
like
couple seasons, Melfi is slowly being pushed
phased
down.
out. Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, that's how it is.
I'm okay with that.
Because Melfi, she's still there. They have their scenes, but it's like oh yeah, your son, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
But like,
well, look, I mean,
what else can they really say?
Right, exactly. I've been in therapy, and it does sort of
get repetitive after a while.
Yeah,
right?
it's like it sort of peters out like that.
It does.
So it makes sense.
I'm the same way. I've been to therapy. You know, you have your points where you go up and down. Eventually, it starts getting a little repetitive because maybe you realize
starts getting worked out. And
you realize what you need to work on, and there's nothing else they can really tell you.
Right.
You gotta work on it.
So as much as I love Melfi in the beginning seasons, I do think that
she's not as important.
She's not as important right now because Tony's kind of got a handle on a lot of things.
He's working on it.
He's working on it, and B, I think the whole thing with once he ended therapy and then like started asking her out officially, and I think it's hard to sort of get back into the groove after that. With your therapist.
I feel like that does cross a few lines.
Yeah. So I will note that this season won the Best Drama Emmy, which
I feel like
the Emmys kind of do like.
Is this like an Academy thing where like we should have done this a couple seasons ago? We'll do it now.
Well, they also get stuck in a rut. If they give the award to something, usually it's 3-4 years in a row. But here's what is also interesting.
Okay.
For a couple of episodes that they submitted, including long-term parking, Michael Imperioli and Drea De Matteo both won supporting actor and actress Emmys.
Very good.
So and Terrence Winter won the writing Emmy for long-term parking. Telling you, my favorite of in a long time, really.
More Mad Men.
That's right.
That's pretty much what it does. Now I'm telling you, like there were some great.
Long-term parking is a great episode. One of my favorites of the series.
No, long-term parking is a great episode. I totally agree with you, and I feel like this one is marked by those deaths. I think it's ironic those two deaths are like the best parts for you.
Yeah, it really is. I'm sort of between a B and a B plus for this season.
It's like it's okay. It's too divided.
It's okay. I'm gonna leave it with a B plus just based on those last two episodes.
Being very good, yeah.
Being very good and really having a lot of impact with Adriana, one of my favorite characters of the series, and B, because clearly, like we talked about, it is setting the stage for something to happen.
Like
I loved the finale, the cliffhanger.
I am liking the fact you are into the mafia stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that also.
I will be honest, when I suggest this to you, I was wondering, I know you're not like super into the crime stuff. Why are you going to like that? But you did like the mafia stuff early on, and you wanted more of it.
Yeah.
You were like...
I wanted them to blend it together
balance more, which...
I think in earlier seasons.
Done better?
Oh, yeah.
Much better?
Well, yeah, because you know what? It's more of a... Like, you know how I was into the Soprano family dynamic?
In the first season, yeah.
In the first few seasons,
Two
really.
seasons, I think, yeah.
But at this point, the family itself has fallen apart. Because Meadow doesn't live there anymore. AJ is just a wreck. Tony and Carmela aren't even together right now.
Junior's
working on it.
House arrest.
Junior's under house arrest. So really, the family
is the
new family.
The real deal, yeah.
Where... it wasn't quite like that in earlier seasons. The family dynamic really was like, oh, AJ's in trouble at school. Meadows doing this, with her boyfriend. It's like, it was a little more family-oriented, and now it's, the mob family.
Yeah.
So, I am liking it, and I think they found a good balance between the two.
Well, it's definitely growing there. Yeah, the last couple seasons do come to quite a head, I think. There's a lot going on. Yeah, I do think that the final seasons are better than season 5. Season 5 is like, I liked it, but it feels like there's just a lot of random stuff that they throw in there. I feel like season 5 is...
There's some real bad episodes in this season.
It's kind of a big filler episode.
Yeah.
The whole season.
Like if I were to rewatch the series...
Right now.
Well, after I get through season 6.
Watch it again. Oh my God.
I feel like season 5, I could literally cut out 4 episodes. maybe 4 entire episodes.
Not lose anything.
And not really lose much. And you know what? I'm going to give it a B.
Okay.
I am going to give it a B. Because those last 2 episodes were great, but...
Everything else?
Most of the season has been disappointing.
Okay, you sound disappointed.
Yeah, to be honest, thinking back on it now, the dream sequence episode really bothered me.
Annette Bening, right?
That was the episode with Annette Bening, you're right, which I liked that.
That was kind of cool, right? You're Annette Bening. Yeah, I was here.
Person.
You know? Face of love.
Yeah, she is the face of love. But, yeah, you're right. On the whole,
okay.
I can't stand behind this season compared to the previous.
Yeah, it's fine. Season 5 is kind of like Season 2, but with a less compelling villain.
Yeah. And a very interesting death, though. You had Big Pussy there. Yeah. You had Tony B and Adriana here.
I really would compare Season 5. It's a lot like Season 6.
Sense.
It feels kind of like a step back in some ways.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit disjointed.
Well, I'm hoping that, like you say, Season 6 is really gonna bring it.
A lot of stuff happens in Season 6. That's for sure. A lot of stuff goes down. It goes into a very different direction with one of its characters, and I'm very interested specifically in what you would think about it.
Okay.
Really
interesting.
Really, because I think you'll be able to offer an interesting perspective, because long before the cutting to black and whatnot, and more dream stuff, and experimental aspects, and more experimental stuff, there is an actual plot that caused some controversy.
Okay, I can get behind an actual plot.
There's many
been
plots.
A little while.
There's many plots, but there is a plot with a character that has been semi-established will become a big character, and and kind of like how every new season has its new big person. I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm interested to see what you think about it. So overall, Season 5 is okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Had some good episodes, but overall, it's all right.
Not my fave. Yeah.
I can't really defend it too much. I mean, I like all the Sopranos, of course, but
of course,
I don't really care about. Yeah, Season 5 is probably one of the weaker seasons. Actually, I mean, I don't know. I still. Yeah, I'd say so far it's probably one of the weaker ones.
Yeah, it's the worst for me so far.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Worse than even like Season 1? I thought you didn't like Season 1.
Season 1 I think I also gave a B. Or maybe a B+. I think that's when I was starting to grade the episodes, so it was hard to judge.
You weren't really sure about Season 1.
Yeah, it was hard to judge it because I didn't have a template yet.
So you like Season 1 more than Season 5? Because remember you were very mixed on Season 1. You liked the last 2 episodes of Season 1.
You're right. It's same as Season 5. You're right. I only like the last 2 episodes.
Basically.
I mean, I guess we established the characters in Season 1, so at least you've got that. Melfi.
Yeah, I know you liked a lot of Melfi.
A lot of Melfi stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say this is probably the worst season,
Okay.
So far. We'll see if 6 works it up.
I think this one generally is listed as the worst season.
Yeah, I believe that.
If I was looking through some lists, I think this one's generally on the bottom.
Okay. I believe it.
I think so. But usually the last couple are pretty highly ranked. So.
Okay. So well, I'm excited.
Hopefully, but I think you'll like it. At least some of it, for sure.
I hope. Yeah. Made it this far.
Yeah, so. I think it's uphill from here though.
Okay.
Except for like that last scene, where you'll be pissed.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Well, that just got in the news too. He
the last year.
He made like a statement recently, and I turned it off because I was like, I know if
he'll tell you what happens,
but I don't want to hear any spoilers. So I always turn the channel when it's on, but...
He's been coming up a lot lately. Oh, yeah, by the way.
So hopefully in a couple weeks, once I get there, then I'll watch whatever he's been saying, and I'll either love it or hate it,
Don't even bother. I'll tell you something. He doesn't tell you anything.
Oh, okay. It's just
stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, this is really what this means.
You
can interpret that for yourself. It's like...
Right.
It's just another way of looking at it.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, I don't know. So Season 5 is okay.
Not my favorite.
Not the favorite, but I'd say looking forward to the last couple. We'll be done soon, and we'll do a whole.
Hard to believe,
but we'll do a whole Sopranos thing coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
All right, see you later.
See you guys. Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, it was always good. You just like it when people die.
Adriana, man, that was.